Hi guys, today we're gonna do a quick get ready with me. I don't have a lot of time. I just put my daughter down for a nap and it's just us here, so we're gonna try and get ready quick and catch up a little bit. So I'll post all the products down in the description box if you want to know what I'm using. Some of you may know I am pregnant. I'm on my second pregnancy, so I'm about 5 months in. And even before I got pregnant, I'd never been too uptight about what I use on my skin or on my hair. But the older I get, the more sensitive my skin gets. I think especially since having a kid, I've become more conscious about ingredients in our home, what we put on our bodies, and what we're eating. I don't like being extreme on any end, but if there's anything that I can streamline that we're using and keep it as natural as possible, I'm gonna do that. And also trying to save money where we can. This year we bought our first home, we bought a car because our family's growing, so it's been a lot of expenses, and of course inflation, where everything's at right now, it's not the easiest time. So as a family, we're also trying to cut back. And okay, so just had a quick interruption there. I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to keep things as natural and also affordable, because I feel like anytime we go to clean health products, it starts to get really expensive. And I love makeup. Makeup is my thing. It's really special to me to use different things, different brands. So I'm okay to spend a little bit extra and splurge on it. But when it comes to everything else, I want to be able to not go overboard. To me, most of it is just a waste. I guess lately I just feel like, why am I paying so much money for so many different ingredients and chemicals and stuff in my skincare? There's a time and a place for them, and sometimes they are very effective in skincare, but for me personally, I just want to try and keep things as natural as possible where I can help it. So yeah, especially with pregnancy, like I've switched most of our cleaning products to non-toxic cleaning products. And then basically some years back, one of my friends told me about African shea butter. I feel like the story's gonna get really long, so I'm gonna start doing my makeup and continue. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of my L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, mix it with a more glowy base. I don't really like to use a lot day to day. And just gonna mix that with the e.l.f. Halo Glow filter, Halo Glow liquid filter. This is in the shade 4. Yeah, so a friend told me about African shea butter because I was talking about how I have really dry skin and not a lot of things seem to help me feel hydrated. And this was before I discovered like hydrating serums and everything. So I used to use just like super rich creams, like literally the old Nivea cream in that like blue tin. That was like one of the few things that used to keep my skin really hydrated. And this was the same for my body as well. I don't think at that point, other than probably also the Nivea, I think it was the 24-hour nourishing body cream, other than those ones, I didn't feel like anything left my skin hydrated enough for long enough. I do feel like the only textures that worked for me were like super thick emollient ones that left you looking a little bit shiny and greasy. My friend told me about African shea butter and how it like got rid of some wrinkles on his forehead that he had within the time that he was using it. I don't know if it was like an anti-aging thing. I think it had more to do with the fact that he probably had really dehydrated skin. Once he got the hydration and the natural oils, it just minimized those fine lines for him. Yeah, I never forgot about that. It's been on my mind, whoops, for a while. And then not too long ago, I saw some African shea butter online that you can get it on Amazon. I was like, okay, well, I would love to start using it. And then of course, because our phones know everything that we're doing, I was browsing somewhere and then I got this recommendation for like a whipped shea butter body cream. And then I went down the rabbit hole of homemade DIY body creams and face creams. I was like, oh great, I would love to know how to make my own face cream that might actually be really effective, because I was spending so much money on getting these creams and serums and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love my serums. I was really curious if I could make something that was gonna be very effective. So I finally ordered myself some shea butter. I just color corrected beforehand around my eyes, and now I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade Sand, just for a little bit of highlighting. Yeah, so I came across this recipe on Pinterest. I actually looked through like a bunch of different recipes, and this one looked the easiest and the best to me and the least complicated. I did research like the best methods for making it, and most of them say to melt the shea butter, but apparently if you melt it, you alter and lose some of the properties of the shea butter. Shea butter itself is supposed to be like very intensely hydrating, and it is a really, really thick butter. So in the DIY recipes, you're usually mixing it with like other carrier oils and essential oils to make it more easily spreadable and easily absorbent. I found this recipe and I made it. I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I've used up half of it. It looks pretty gross, but I keep it in this little jar here. And that's what it looks like. It's supposed to be whipped in there, so it's softer right now than what the actual shea butter feels like when it came in. Raw shea butter is like a brick of butter, and it's really thick and it's really hard to work with. As a mom, I don't have a lot of time for self-care. I just try and like minimize it, so I feel like I really sacrifice taking care of the skin on my body. I'm going in with the Kosas concealer. This is just in a slightly darker shade. It's closer to my skin tone, so I'm using this to conceal around the mouth. So my skin started to get very, very cracked, and I literally had like scaly looking dragon skin. I would keep like lotions and stuff, but it would never actually heal my skin. And then I used this raw shea butter, and my skin was literally still hydrated the day after, and it actually healed the cracks of the skin as well. And then I've been putting it on my feet, and guys, my feet look like a corpse. No matter how much I would try to do to my feet using oils and whatever and Vaseline, nothing would work. And then I started putting the shea butter on my feet, and it again literally like healed my feet, and it didn't look as dead anymore. It's still more dry than the rest of my body, but it just looks so much healthier now. One thing I have to say is shea butter, when it comes in, smells really, really bad. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. I think it has to do with the way that it's packaged, but it has this weird smell when it comes in, and it does not smell like your commercial shea butters because they're mixed in with like synthetic fragrances to make it smell more pleasant and nutty. I read you kind of have to let it air out a bit and then that smell goes away. Well, the carrier oil that I mixed in with it was sweet almond oil because it's meant to be a little bit more hydrating than say like jojoba oil. And then the only proper essential oil that I had for using on the face was lavender. I'm not really the biggest fan of lavender, but I just wanted it to smell kind of nice, so I added in a few drops of that, and I left the lid open from the jar to let it air out a bit. And yeah, so now it smells really lovely, just like a really mild lavender scent. I've been using it on my face day and night and on my body, and especially now that I'm pregnant and my belly's getting bigger, I've been using it as belly butter, so I'm really curious to see how well it might help to prevent stretch marks. Like, I'm not going to believe in the fairy tale that I'll get no stretch marks because it can be a genetic thing, and I did get it with my last pregnancy. I'm really pleased and convinced, and I'm so thrilled that I finally found something that actually helps my skin, and it's not very expensive. I mean, startup costs for getting all the ingredients is a little bit pricey. Like the shea butter itself for like a kilogram bag was I think 15 bucks from Amazon, and I'll link it down in the description box below. I had to buy the sweet almond oil. I already had the lavender essential oil. The only other thing I had to buy was arrowroot powder, and arrowroot powder you can add to the creams to take the greasiness away. I didn't want it to lose all its luminosity, so I added like half the amount, and yeah, it made a really nice, like non super greasy cream for my face and body, and I'm so glad that I can use it on both my face and body. One bag of the shea butter, I used about a quarter of it to get like this container's worth, pretty much filled to the top with like a little bit of space around. But all in all, the amount of money I'm saving on like face creams and body creams, and also just being able to have something more natural, it's been amazing. And I will link the recipe down below for anyone who's interested. I just found it on a blog, and I pretty much follow the recipe to a T, except for the fact that I don't melt the oil. You can actually easily whip shea butter with the hand mixture and it works just fine. And then I've also gone down the rabbit hole of natural hair care. Like, I would say I haven't used any product in my hair for 2 to 3 years, or any heat for that matter, till I started making YouTube videos because I have to style my hair whenever I do the videos. I've had a lot of like hair fall since my early 20s. I used to have really thick hair. I actually used to pull my hair when I would feel incredibly anxious, and I definitely was a naturally very anxious person. I really wanted to focus on healing my hair again and getting some growth back. I don't feel like after stopping the heat, not using hair products, that I got that much of my hair back, and my hair didn't feel that much healthier or anything. But I recently just saw a video of this girl talking about her hair health and hair journey. I'll link that down below as well if you're interested. She talked about how it was the same thing for her, and she didn't get a lot of growth or health back after stopping using heat and hair products. I just have to stop to show you guys what I'm using for blush. I did use the e.l.f. putty blush underneath in the shade Turks and Caicos. I recently just got back into using my Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink. It's this like corally pink blush with gold reflex, and I just pressed it into this pan so I can keep it in a palette. But I've been into using products where they have a little bit of natural glow to them, so I don't have to use like an extra highlight or something, but it is just the most gorgeous brightening corally pink shade. Just love the cute little flush that it gives. Forgot to contour my nose, something that I always do. So she talked about how she actually had to start incorporating products into her hair that actually nourish the hair, and I don't remember what she started using in her hair. Basically, again, like trying to go all natural and using like oils and stuff and hair masks that maybe you can make at home. Honestly, I feel like with most commercial products, there's so much additives and chemicals and stuff in the stuff that you put in your skin and hair that it does more damage than good. I don't know if you guys heard about the no poo movement. I think that's what it's called, but basically a trend where people stop using shampoo, and basically what happens is like when you're using shampoo and conditioner and product, not only are you getting a lot of buildup in your hair from all the hairspray and product that you're using, but then you have to use shampoo and conditioner to then get rid of it and try and treat your hair. And then all this other chemicals that you put in your hair from shampoo will actually cause your scalp and hair to become dependent on using it. It can dry out your scalp as well, so then you're using more product to try and bring like hydration back. And I was like, it shouldn't have to be this difficult, because to me, certain things like our hair and skin and bodies weren't designed for all this extra chemicals. Like I really don't think we need it. I think sometimes it's a treat to have all these products, and in some cases it does make a difference. For the most part, I was like, I don't need this. And basically what happens when you stop washing your hair with shampoo and conditioner, for most people, your oil production will balance out and your scalp will stop producing as much oil as if you were constantly washing it with shampoo. I was trying to do this and it was really hard because I couldn't stand to have greasy hair, and I stopped using dry shampoo, guys. Dry shampoo from an aerosol can, if you think about what's actually in an aerosol can that's spraying out, and there's been a lot of studies and reports of how it's actually causing hair fall for women. So I just didn't want to take any chances with like trying to find the right products for that. I just wanted to have healthy hair without having to worry about everything that I was putting on it. I'm just taking the same bronzer I used on my face, on my eyes here. I just used the Benefit Hoola bronzer. When I got pregnant this time around, I was already so nauseous and fatigued and sick in that first trimester, but then we also caught some kind of a bug that lasted for like a month. So I actually didn't even have the energy to wash and shampoo my hair or take care of my skin and my face. And within those couple months that I wasn't able to wash my hair or anything, my hair naturally just leveled out in its oil production. And then I noticed that I would just wash my hair with water and it would be clean. And it's not like I was putting any products or anything in it, so it wasn't getting gunky or anything. And I think it's a little bit different, like if you're going to the gym and you're getting really sweaty and producing extra moisture and oil, you're gonna have to shampoo and wash that off. And maybe some people's scalps are naturally more oily than others. For me, generally, I tend to be dry everywhere. I was so shocked that I wasn't putting product or shampoo or anything in my hair, and I would just wash it with plain water and it would be clean and it wouldn't be oily or greasy or anything when it would dry. My husband has been trying to tell me this for years because he's just like typical guy. I don't even know if I would call him typical because he hardly ever uses shampoo. Like he never uses shampoo unless he works out really hard and it's like he's got built up grime. His hair is so healthy and luscious. I was like, okay, maybe there's something to it. So I started researching on how to like naturally clean hair and stuff. I wanted a way to be able to clean my hair if it did get extra greasy, and I read that using like a apple cider rinse, like apple cider mixed into water, cleans out the hair. And apple cider tends to have a closer pH to your scalp and hair, so it actually works as a really good rinse. So I've been doing that. I used to do egg masks for the hair to get like protein. Eggs are one of the natural things in this world that is like very, very close to pure protein. So if you put it in your hair, you get a lot of like protein. You can even use it as a mask on your face. You can also wash your hair with egg, but you have to be very careful and not use it too often because excessive protein, it can dry out your hair. So I do it maybe like once every couple weeks. And then the other thing that I got into was doing a rice water wash, which is basically like you take rice water. There are various methods for getting rice water. It's not really that difficult. You rinse your hair with rice water after washing it, and you leave that rice water in your hair for about 20 to 30 minutes and then rinse it out. And it makes your hair so healthy looking and shiny, and it's set to grow your hair. Now, you know, there's like some research on these things and it's not like a guarantee that it's gonna be noticeable for everybody. So many people in different cultures have been doing these treatments and methods for years and years. For me, it's like, okay, what can I do to just try and nourish my hair as much as I can, and trying different things to see what works for my hair. And I have to say that my hair is the most nourished and healthiest that it has been in years. I can't remember the last time that I naturally would let my hair dry and it would feel this shiny and healthy. Once in a while I'll like put warm oil and rub it into my scalp and into my hair and leave it in as a treatment. Just trying a bunch of different things to see what can keep my hair healthy in a natural way. I haven't used shampoo and conditioner since like September 2022. Now we're in February, and I do think what also helped was for me to get a haircut and cut off all like the damaged ends. So you can see it's like pretty healthy and shiny. I did style it. So I have a hair curler that I run through my hair on very, very low heat just to get the shape. Again, because with a bob, you just want to make sure that it looks nice. These back in my hair. I'm just gonna use my Natasha Denona mini star palette on the eyes. I'm really surprised and happy with how my skin and hair have been looking and feeling in this last month or so. I feel like it's the healthiest it has been. So I don't think I really need to add more or take away anything more right now with my skincare and hair care. I still love my serums. I haven't really switched away from using The Ordinary in the last few years because I feel like it's been the most effective for my skin. Like I've tried to get away and use other serums and things, but I don't notice a significant difference. So I'll probably do a skincare video at some point. But yeah, I just use a hyaluronic acid serum, niacinamide. I'm using bakuchiol right now from the Sephora brand because I can't use my retinol because I'm pregnant. And then I use a glycolic acid. And my skin tone and texture in general has also been the best right now that it has been in the last couple of years. I think that really changed when I started using The Ordinary's glycolic acid with the niacinamide serum. I mean, I don't use them at the same time because that would be too much irritation, but I use the glycolic acid at nighttime and I'll use the niacinamide during the day and on nights that I don't use the acid. Other than that, like I said, I'm like 5 months, oh crap, 5 months pregnant right now, and honestly it hasn't been too bad. I feel like in some ways it's even easier than my first pregnancy. The only thing that's challenging, or that it started off being challenging, was that I can't really rest as much because I have a almost 2-year-old, gonna be 2 this week. I can't believe it's been 2 years. where has the time gone? And it's definitely something else trying to keep up with a little kid while you're pregnant. But at the same time, I feel like it's been really good because it keeps me moving. We're going out for long walks, we're going out to play together, and we still do like reasonable rough and tumble play. She keeps me on my toes, she keeps me fit. I'm still trying to fit in like exercise and going to the gym a few times a week, because with my last pregnancy, I didn't do any fitness. I was still walking like really long distances, like I would walk like 1 or 2 hours a day, so that helped. I do think this pregnancy I feel stronger. I already had a bit of a exercise routine before getting pregnant, and so I'm trying to keep that up. It's not regular, but you know, whatever helps. I feel like my eating overall is better. My husband and I have been trying to get our eating right for many years. It doesn't help because we're such foodies and we love indulging in good food, and also we just didn't have a lot of knowledge about how to have like a sustainably healthy diet without like eliminating all these food groups. So I think we've got the hang of it now, and also it was a matter of like changing our mindset and our relationship when it comes to food, because we both kind of grew up indulging. We had to get into the habit of seeing natural foods as good and delicious foods. So learning how to cook different things and make natural foods taste really good was a really big deal. So I've been experimenting. I cook every meal, make all our snacks. I would say like 80% of all our meals and snacks I cook at home, and I make it from scratch. And that's also another good way to save money. We used to spend a lot of money eating out. We used to like order in at least once a week, sometimes a couple times a week. Now we're definitely saving a lot more. I mean, I don't know if saving is the right word, because now we have a mortgage and car payments and all this stuff. So I think it has helped. I think it's helped us to be able to deal with having bought a home and a car and all these extra expenses, and then a second kid coming in. I'm just going in with the mascara primer here. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous. Yeah, so compared to my first pregnancy, I don't have as much food aversions with this one like I did in the first trimester, but I was surprised because in my first one, I could not handle the smell of meat and like cooking meat. But this time around, like I'm eating meat nonstop. Because of that, I thought we were gonna have a boy. I was like, oh, is it all this like extra testosterone or something? But actually, we're having a girl. And so that'll be our second girl, which we're really excited for. I always grew up dreaming of having like one boy, one girl, because that's what me and my sibling are. But I think we both really enjoyed having a girl. And even though I think it would have been amazing to have the opportunity to raise a boy, we were just so used to having a girl that we're like, oh, it would just be easier if we had another girl. And also, I still haven't got rid of any of her stuff. We literally have everything that we need for the next one. And then also with the place that we bought, it's good because it's more space than our 1-bedroom apartment we were living in, but we only got a 2-bedroom this time, because if you guys are Canadian or you live in Vancouver, you know that real estate here is like insane. And it was honestly very lucky of us that we were even able to buy a home, but we really needed it. It has enough space, but yeah, it's 2 bedrooms, so we were planning on having the 2 kids share their rooms, and it's just easier if it's 2 girls or 2 boys. I mean, my brother and I shared a room until I was 10 years old, and then we got our own rooms. We never thought it was a big deal, and I think around 10 to 12 is when you start developing a sense of like privacy and wanting your own space. So my culture, it's super common to share rooms as siblings, and so I don't think it's that weird. I don't really think little kids need separate rooms, and even if you give them separate rooms, they're gonna try and go sleep in each other's beds anyway because they don't want to be alone, or they end up sleeping in your bed. I definitely think that this is gonna be our last one. Honestly, I think I could do like one more, but it's just a matter of like space and finances. My family doesn't live here. We just have my mom-in-law, and we can't really depend on one person for everything. So this week is my daughter's second's birthday, so I've just been spending this week like trying to sort everything out. On her actual birthday, we usually just spend time as a family, and so we'll also probably have her grandma here, and it'll just be us 4 hanging out and spending time together. And then we're doing her actual birthday party on the weekend. And it's not gonna be like a full-on party because she's still so young and I don't think she'll appreciate that. So we're just doing a thing where we have the day set and we invited close friends and family to just pop by through the day and spend time with her. So we have like a small group of people coming in the morning, which are basically going to be like her little toddler friends and my nephew, and yeah, basically just the kids, so they can hang out and get their time done before their naps. And then in the evening is going to be my husband's family and some of our other friends as well. I am baking her cake and making cupcakes. So I baked her actual smash cake on her first birthday, and then her grandma did the bigger cake and cupcakes. So people were able to dig into the cupcakes because we cut the cake later in the day. The cupcakes were the same flavor as the actual big cake. And my mom-in-law is incredible with baking, cooking, art, everything. And she's naturally a very creative and artistic person. So she has a lot of amazing talents and I've been learning a lot from her. So she gave me her cake recipe that she uses. So this year I'm making my daughter's birthday cake, and it's gonna be like a smaller 6-inch cake, and then I'll make like a dozen cupcakes for everybody else to eat through the day and for the kids. I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be really chill and low-key and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And then other than that, next week is Valentine's Day, which is actually my husband and I's first date anniversary. Like, we've known each other for a long time even before our first date, but Valentine's Day 2015 was the first actual date that he took me out on. We're probably gonna go out to dinner or something. We don't usually have proper date nights because we're both such like homebodies, and whenever we have time we're just so tired. Our date nights end up being like ordering in food and watching a movie or something at home. So this time around we're gonna get dressed up and go out. I did recently film a Valentine's Day date night makeup tutorial, and it's definitely probably top 3 of my favorite looks that I've ever done. So I'll link that at the end of this video so you guys go check that out. I also just joined TikTok. It took me a really long time, and honestly I've tried joining it before, but I get a little bit overwhelmed with social media and sometimes it's just too much stimulation for me. So I think the 2 times that I was on TikTok before, I was like, oh, it's too much and there's no reason for me to be here. But now that I'm making more content and more videos, I actually started to have fun with like making like short videos and stuff for Instagram. So I'm like, I need to be on TikTok. There are a lot of artists and creators that I love that post really helpful stuff on TikTok. So I've been following them. I'm getting a lot of information and content that I'm enjoying. I still get overstimulated. Like, I can't scroll on there for minutes or hours on end. Long speech aside, I have TikTok now, so I'll link that down below, and I'm going to be making like more short videos and stuff to post on there. Give that a follow. If you have any like requests for things that you want to see, let me know. So that's my sort of everyday mom makeup routine done. Thank you guys for hanging out and letting me talk your ears off. It was nice to just sit and do makeup and not have like a planned content thing. Do go follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I'll be posting probably a lot more frequently on there. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would be amazing to see you guys here again. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or thoughts about anything I talked about on here, feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram if you want. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.